it's expensive AF. It's so expensive, it's crazy. So all Germans, sit down, breathe. Yes, this is normal. This is just a regular wrist surgery. Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living in Cincinnati, Ohio since 2016. Right now, I'm actually in Munich though, because I'm staying with my family over the holidays, and I'll definitely record some videos for you guys while I'm here. But in today's video, I'm sharing some footage that I recorded back in Cincinnati, because I'm finally going to share with you what my experiences with the American healthcare system were like, because this year was the first time since I moved to the States that I was sick, or injured to be more precise, and actually had to deal with all of those healthcare topics here in the US, like doctor's visits, insurance, hospital, physical therapy, and so on. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, I broke my wrist at the end of August and needed to get surgery. If you want to know more about how it happened and all of that, make sure to check out this video, because I'm not gonna tell the whole story again. We're just gonna jump into it the day that I had my surgery. I filmed a little bit here and there throughout the whole recovery process, so it's probably gonna be a little chaotic because it was all filmed over the course of several weeks, but I finally put it all together, so here are my experiences. Hey guys, good morning. So it's Tuesday, September 8th, and I am having my surgery today for my wrist. So I broke it 8 days ago, so yesterday, a week ago, and this was the earliest appointment I could get for a surgery. So I haven't eaten or drank anything since midnight. It's about 11 a.m. right now. My surgery is scheduled for 2 p.m. I'm supposed to be there at noon, so I'm about to leave soon. Here, I haven't drank any water either, which, like, that's the one thing that kind of bothers me. I'm a little thirsty, but I'll survive. I showered in the morning, no makeup, no jewelry, took everything out. I'm about to take up my contacts too, because I'm not gonna take those to the hospital. Yeah, and then I'm gonna be there for about 6 hours in total. Surgery is scheduled to be about 2.5 hours, which I'm not quite sure what's all included in that, but that's the time that I was told. I need someone to wait there the whole time while I'm in surgery, so someone's gonna take me, wait there, and then take me back home, and then I have another friend come over afterwards to take care of me afterwards and make sure that I'm fine. Yeah, this is my first surgery in a long time. The last time I had surgery, I was in kindergarten, so I'm not nervous, but I'm curious. I'm like, I don't want to say excited, but it's definitely going to be something new, and it's going to be a little bit, I guess, nerve-wracking just to put myself into someone else's responsibility entirely and trust these people. But I met with the surgeon last week, and he seems very, very competent and very nice too, and like all the hospital people working there, they're all really nice so far, like all the people that I've talked to so far. One thing that was a pretty big thing yesterday was that my insurance was still waiting on the final approval for the surgery. So I have an expat insurance with a German company. So this is a German insurance company that provides health insurance for Germans who live abroad, and my plan explicitly includes the US and Canada, because those two countries are just more expensive regarding healthcare. And they work together with an American insurance, so like the whole time I was always dialing an American number when I first filed my claim and let them know about the updates and the surgery and everything. They're super competent. They were super nice the whole time. They opened up my file, they let me know how things are gonna work from here on. And they told me that all that needs to happen for a surgery is that it needs to get authorized beforehand. The policy plan says that they do cover medical or medically needed surgeries with no maximum cost. So yeah, they're paying for this, but it took a little bit, so it was a little bit chaotic yesterday, because like the American part of the insurance had to gather all the medical details and the cost estimate from the hospital, and then that took a little bit until they had that, and then they sent it over to Germany. And then like yesterday, a day before the surgery, the people in Germany asked, oh, that's kind of expensive. Can't she come to Germany and do it here? And I was like, wait, what? My surgery is scheduled for tomorrow. That's a little last minute that you guys asked me that now. I mean, it could have possibly been an option, but it's really not ideal to fly with a broken wrist and then like switching back and forth and then flying back too. And I mean, it would have been a little messy, but they didn't bring it up until the day before the surgery, because that's really when the German part of the company got involved in it. So I was a little freaking out yesterday because I was like, well, this is really not ideal. I need to get the surgery done as soon as possible until I get a flight to Germany. They would have paid for the flight, but still, like, until I have one, until I have an appointment, then like with COVID and stuff, I would have to get another COVID test. I don't think it would have been able to get the surgery in the next few days. So they finally approved it in the middle of the night, like when they came into the office in Germany on the day of my surgery. It was the middle of the night in the US. So I finally got the final approval from their side. So I'm very relieved, because now it means that they pay for everything. I don't have any copay at all, which is amazing. So now I really just have to hope that everything's going well. I mean, I'm pretty confident. And I have to say that like the whole preparation and everything in the US, like everything about the healthcare system that I've experienced so far in the US has always been pretty professional. Like the staff has always been professional. The environment has always been professional. We'll see how it goes when I go into the clinic today, because I don't think I'm going to be in the same place as I was last time for the consulting appointment. But it was really, really nice looking. There was social distancing everywhere. There were like self-check-in computer screens set up. They took your temperature before you went in. I didn't have to wait at all. Last time when I had my appointment, I went in, they gave me a form to fill out, and before I even had filled it out, I was already called in for the actual appointment, and I was out of there within like 45 minutes or so for the like whole appointment. They always have these apps. So I had this with the university clinic when I was still a student. I had an app like this, and even when I got a COVID test a few weeks ago after my Myrtle Beach trip, I got a COVID test at one of those pop-up stations, and even though that wasn't connected to the university hospital, I still got my results of the test in my online platform, in my online profile. So that's really cool. We don't really have that in Germany, or at least I've never had anything like that. You have like an online profile for most of your health needs. So this one is a different platform than it was for the university hospital. It's called MyChart. But you can log in your browser, and literally all the information is in there. So I have my app right here. It even knows when I arrive to an appointment because I enabled the location settings. I can see all my past and future appointments in here. You can schedule an appointment. You can refill your prescriptions. You can ask questions. I got a letter with all the pre-surgery instructions here. So it's really professional, and I really enjoy that part about it, because in Germany, I want to say most of the doctor's stuff is really like all on paper and all old-fashioned. Like you get a call and you get the surgery instructions, and I did that too, but then on top of the call, they also put that in the system. So I also had my pre-surgery COVID swab last week, and I got the results in here as well. Yeah, I have like my first diagnosis from my x-rays in here. So that's really something that I think is pretty amazing. So now I'm just hoping that everything's gonna go well, and I'm gonna try and film a little bit throughout my stay at the hospital as well.
C is down. Yes.
So I'm at the hospital. I'm about to pee in here, so that's fun. And then I'm about to get changed into my hospital gown. So I'm in my hospital gown. Took a while to get changed for me, and now I'm just waiting here. No clue what's gonna happen next. So I have my splint on. It's pretty quiet in here. Yeah, that's just where I'm chilling. When I woke up from surgery, I remember that I felt like I was extremely drunk. It was really hard to get dressed and everything because I just felt really dizzy. And apparently I thought it would be a good idea to film something while a nurse brought me downstairs to the parking lot in a wheelchair. So we're done and I'm being brought back outside. Josh is waiting with the car, so I'm just gonna go home, probably pass out, just sleep. And another friend is coming over to keep me company. So I'm on my way home. I'm feeling a little dizzy and I was feeling a little nauseous in the beginning, but I'm doing okay now. I think I'm just gonna pass out at home, just sleep. But we're currently in the drive-thru to pick up my medication, which is crazy because in Germany we do not have drive-thru pharmacies or drugstores. So that's a first for me. One little piece of information that I didn't mention in any of these recordings for some reason, but that I know you guys are gonna ask about, is that they put a plate and a bunch of screws into my wrist. And yes, those are going to stay in there permanently. It's made out of titanium, and no, it doesn't cause me any trouble at the airport. And yes, I would know because I have been on a plane since then. Hey guys, so it's a little over a week after my surgery right now. My arm looks like this right now. I'm even like kind of falling apart already. I kind of feel like a mummy. Yeah, so today is Friday and my surgery was Tuesday last week and everything did go well. I was in there for about 8 hours. I was in there for longer than I thought, and they said that everything actually went better than they had expected, but there was like a little complication with like a wire, I think. So they had to make an extra cut on the upper side of my wrist, but I'm gonna see what it looks like in a few days when they take it off. Not when they take the arm off, when they take the splint off. Yeah, and I'm doing really well right now, but I was pretty knocked out after the surgery. So the surgery itself went really well, is what they told me at least. They said that everything went better than they had expected before, which is great. I also think that everything at the hospital itself was really professional and went down really smoothly, and I felt like I was taken care of very well. Definitely 5 stars for that. Okay, of course now I had to let the cat in. I don't know if you could hear her meow in the background. Oof, she's heavy. Ooh, with one arm, that's kind of tricky. But she says hi. She's probably gonna mess everything up now. I arrived, there was a surgery check-in, so we checked in and my friend was allowed to come with me into the hospital room. Well, Josh was the friend who brought me, and he also stayed there the whole time and like waited for me until I was ready to leave the hospital again. I was in there for a little bit longer than they had told me before. It was like 8 hours in total, so I was in there from noon to about 8 p.m. Okay, now the cat's messing with my microphone. That's great. And there were like so many different nurses and doctors who came in. Everyone had their different task. They checked my medical history with me again. Of course, I got an IV. They told me which medication I'm gonna get. They told me what the anesthesia is gonna be like. The surgeon himself came and signed my arm and told me again what they were doing. And I think he signed my arm to make sure that they weren't gonna cut open the wrong arm. Yeah, and also they had Josh's phone number, and Josh got text updates whenever something happened. So like when I was brought into the surgeon theater or whatever it's called, he got a text message saying that I'm in there now, that the surgery had started now, that the surgery was over, that I was waking up. And there was even apparently like a screen somewhere that kind of looked like an airport screen where it said which patient was where and what was happening right now. So it said like surgery in progress. And all of those things are just really fancy. I've never seen anything like that in Germany. And I've told you about the app before too. My follow-up appointment is going to be in 4 days. And I have my appointment schedule in this app. And also I have all the billing information in this app. And I think I already told you that my insurance did approve the surgery and they're paying for it. The amount that they had told me what the surgery was going to cost was $40,000. So all Germans, sit down, breathe, yes, this is normal. This is just a regular wrist surgery, $40,000 just for the surgery itself. But I actually got the billing information in this app, and my insurance is paying for everything, so that's good. But I can still see how much everything is, and there's like, just for the surgery, there's a bill for $53,000, and there's like another $2,000 for my initial visit with the surgeon, like $500 here, $300 there, for like, you know, all the like the little things like the x-rays that I got, the I don't even know what all of this is, but it's expensive AF. It's so expensive, it's crazy. I'm just glad that I don't have to pay for anything. Yeah, so I'm having my first follow-up appointment on Monday. I think they're gonna take the splint off and see how good everything looks, how much everything has healed. I can actually like do a lot. Like, I'm hardly in pain anymore. So the few days after the surgery, I was pretty knocked out. I think partly from the anesthesia. Like right after the surgery, I was super dizzy and nauseous and felt like I was just really drunk or something like that. But then like the few days after the surgery, and that noise is the cat, by the way. I kicked her out, then she meowed at the door, and now she's playing with something back there. Whatever. But yeah, they gave me opioids. I don't remember the name, but it's like the pain medicine. I'm gonna put the name off the pain medicine itself here, but they gave me that, and then they also gave me antibiotics to take for 7 days, which makes sense. But the opioids, I think I really didn't take that very well. I just like felt super nauseous and dizzy for like 3 days after the surgery, and I was knocked out the whole time. Like I was just sleeping and not really hungry or eating. I was just, bleh. I was a zombie. And I actually stayed in bed pretty much until like 2 or 3 days ago. So like a little over a week after the surgery, I was just in bed the whole time. They gave me this cushion thing. I'm gonna put a photo here because I have it in my bed right now, to put my arm like this the whole time. I did not get a sling because my doctor, apparently it's different with other doctors, but my doctor said that that doesn't help at all, and the arm is always supposed to be in a vertical position like this, above the heart level, and like a sling wouldn't help at all. So it's a little uncomfortable, like carrying my arm around sometimes with like weird positions. Of course, I could just like get a sling or use a scarf or something like that, but I actually kind of use my arm for things like for little things that aren't heavy. So yeah, I'm also actually going to do something for the first time tonight with a few friends. So I'm hoping that everything's gonna be fine. But back to the pain medicine. So I stopped taking the opioids 3 days after the surgery on Friday. My surgery was Tuesday, then I stopped taking them on Friday because they just made me feel so bad. Like, I don't really understand why people would get addicted to that, because it really just made me feel like shit. But ever since then, they told me that I could take Tylenol or ibuprofen, and I really didn't need a lot of pain medicine since then. I've like taken ibuprofen a few times, but on a lot of the days I just didn't take anything at all, and it's fine. I mean, like, it's a little uncomfortable sometimes, but whenever I'm laying down or sitting down, I don't feel anything. The only pain is when I like hold my arm in weird angles or like do something with my fingers, but I'm able to use my fingers or like move my fingers without pain, so that's definitely a good sign. Yeah, so I'm not really in a lot of pain anymore, but I was pretty knocked out for a few days afterwards, still pretty exhausted and just, yeah, overall weak. But I think that's pretty normal, so I would say I'm doing fine. And I also managed to pick up a few more packages from the PO box that you guys sent me for my shelf, and unfortunately not everything can fit. Like, I just put this picture here so that you can see it because I think it's really cool. I love this Bavarian Mickey Mouse. I got my flags, a little Tesla thing. Yeah, so thank you guys for that. I hope you enjoy the background, and I'll keep you updated with my follow-up appointment. Okay, so we're jumping ahead. It is now November, and of course, I totally forgot to film any other updates about my wrist, so I'm just gonna give you guys like a quick summary. So at the follow-up appointment 2 weeks after my surgery, I actually filmed how they took out the stitches. This is what it looked like. They took some x-rays, everything looked good, and I actually got out of my splint and I got a removable brace instead. So 2 weeks after surgery, I didn't have the splint anymore. I had this brace that looked like this, which was cool because I could now finally move my elbow again, because it was crazy that even though my elbow was completely fine, it was completely healthy, I was in that splint for about 3 weeks, like a little over a week before surgery and then 2 weeks after surgery, and I couldn't really stretch my elbow all the way just from not moving it for 3 weeks, and it took like at least a week until I got my full elbow mobility and strength back, which was interesting. And of course it's like a lot more practical if you can move your elbow. And I also didn't have to shower with this thing anymore, because this is how I showered. I still like had to cover my brace, and I still wore the brace 24/7, but it was just a lot more convenient to shower with that because it was a lot smaller. With that, the doctor also told me that I should start physical therapy as soon as possible, so I actually started the day after the appointment, I think, so 2 weeks after surgery, and they referred me to physical therapy within the same hospital. The cool thing was that I could pick the location that I wanted to go to, and there was a location pretty close to where I live, which was amazing in the beginning because I wasn't driving then with my arms, so I could walk there, which was really nice. So I started physical therapy 2 weeks after surgery, and I could hardly move my wrist. So I was allowed to take the brace off for physical therapy and then 3 times a day to like do my exercises. And I tried to do that, but there's like basically 3 different movements. So I can show you. Of course, I can do it a lot better now, but I'm gonna try and show you what it looked like back then. So basically, there is this movement, then there is this movement, and then there's the movement, which is kind of hard to show you guys now because you're supposed to like put your elbow to your side and then move your palm up and down. So basically, I'm gonna do it this way, but you're supposed to do it down here. Basically, up and down. Okay, see, it doesn't even fully work this way. So basically, if you do that yourself, you'll see that you're able to move it all the way up and all the way down. And with my broken hand, I literally couldn't do that in the beginning. Like, instead of going all the way this way, I was stuck here. I was stuck at 90 degrees and I couldn't move it any further. I think I could move it down a little bit, but I couldn't move it up at all. And basically what happened is that I went to physical therapy. I think in the beginning it was like 1 time a week because we couldn't really do much like 2 weeks post-surgery. And then it was twice a week, and then we went back to 1 time a week. And I think about 6 or 8 weeks after the surgery, we started, I want to say maybe 6 weeks after surgery, we started with passive motion. So in the beginning, all you do is active motion, which means that you only move it with your own strength. And then after a while, you can start putting pressure on it and like basically stretching it, which definitely was a little painful, especially when she did it. But I heard people say that that was the worst pain that they've ever felt. To me, that wasn't really the case. It was very uncomfortable, and when she stretched my arm for like over a minute at a time, like I did kind of start breathing, like concentrate, you can get through this. But I think the pain that I had after surgery for me was actually the worst pain. I know it's different for everyone, but for me, I wasn't really in pain right after I broke it. I mean, of course I was in pain right after I broke it, but like the days after I broke it, it really didn't hurt very badly, like at all. And then the day of surgery, it didn't hurt at all anymore. That was like over a week after I broke it. And then after surgery is when it really started hurting. And then, yeah, I would say like the days after surgery was the worst pain. And then the physical therapy, as I said, was like uncomfortable. And it was definitely painful, but it wasn't like, you can still take it, you can still do it. We started passive motion, and then eventually we started like strength exercises. I can also put a few clips in the video, I probably already did, because I actually filmed quite a bunch from physical therapy. Some of these devices looked a little, not creepy, but you're just a little skeptical when you see them. Yeah, my physical therapist was really, really nice, and I think in total I had 10 sessions. And she evaluated me in the beginning, of course, then she evaluated me after a few weeks, and then at the very end. So 10 weeks after surgery, I was actually already discharged. So I was in physical therapy for 8 weeks then. And I could have gone for longer. Like, of course, you're supposed to go as long as you need it for. But yeah, we evaluated my angles again and my strength, and I'm not fully back to normal, but I'm doing really, really well. And so she discharged me. That was actually a week and a half ago. And then the next day I had my next follow-up appointment with a doctor. So after they took my stitches out, I had another follow-up appointment 4 weeks after that, where they just took x-rays again and everything looked fine. And they just like checked how everything's going with physical therapy. And that's actually when they told me that I didn't need to wear the brace anymore. So about 6 weeks after surgery is when I was fully free. I wasn't wearing anything anymore. And then another 4 weeks later is when I had my last follow-up appointment, and he also, like, they took x-rays again and he checked everything too. He measured everything himself and took the strength too. And he actually said that this is the earliest that he's ever discharged anyone with this kind of injury. He said it's probably mostly because I'm young, but also because I must have done my exercises properly, which, I mean, I didn't do them every day, and sometimes I didn't do them for days, but I tried to. I tried my best, and like as soon as I had my brace off, I really started using my hand for everything because my physical therapist told me that I was okay. So I think that just helped a lot. So he told me that if there's any problems, if there's any pain or anything, I can of course schedule another appointment, but I should be fine. And so basically this story has come to an end, and I'm very happy. And I have to say, I said this in the beginning too, but it wasn't a bad experience for me at all. Maybe it's just because this year is so weird anyways, but honestly, I don't even think that this is the worst thing that's happened this year. And this isn't meant in a bad way, it's just, it happened, it kind of sucked a little bit, but it just wasn't a big deal for me. Like, I knew it was gonna heal again, I knew it was just gonna take some time, and I was pretty much able to do a lot. So except for, honestly, the most annoying things were doing my hair in the very beginning, but that really only lasted for a few days. Then once I was able to move my fingers, I was pretty much able to do everything myself. And then like working on the computer, that was pretty annoying because I couldn't really hold my hands horizontally. So like, because that really hurt after the surgery. So I couldn't really type, I couldn't really edit anything, so that was really annoying. But yeah, so the final results, this is my scar. This is what it looks like about 11 weeks after surgery, if I counted correctly. And as I said, I'm not fully back to like all of my mobility, but I'm on the best way there. I can move my wrist forth this much. So this is my healthy hand as a comparison. I can move it back this much. I can already put my weight, like when I work out, I can already put my weight on this wrist a little bit. Like I can put my weight on it as long as the other hand's there too. I cannot put my weight on it with like when all my weight is just on the one hand, if that makes sense. Like that really still hurts, but I can put my weight on it with both hands. So that's great. Then I can do this movement again. So like, as I said, like if you do it like this, I can't even fully do it with my healthy hand, but I guess like, yeah, I can do this movement again. And then I can do this movement. My strength is doing pretty well. Like I actually did a bunch of stuff today, like opening jars and stuff like that. That's all pretty fine. So that is the end of my wrist vlog. I hope this was interesting for you in any way. I know that I totally looked obviously sick in some of these recordings, and you got a pretty intimate insight into my life. Like you saw me literally in the hospital bed and literally right after I woke up from anesthesia. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and as promised, there will be a video on the healthcare system and like the healthcare system in the US in comparison to the healthcare system in Germany. Overall, my experience has been very, very good, except that it's extremely expensive. I was just very lucky that my insurance paid for everything, but I did see the costs and it's insane how much everything costs. So that's gonna be interesting to look into that, how the different systems work in Germany and in the US, where the money even goes, why it's needed, etc. So that's gonna be an interesting video that's hopefully gonna come out in a few weeks. And with that, of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for free. If you like these kind of personal insights, you can always get some of these behind the scenes stuff and like insights into my life on my social media channels, on Instagram at _, on Facebook, and then also on Patreon, where you can also support me with a monthly donation. Or if you just want to support me without any behind the scenes content, then you can do that on buymeacoffee.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Tschüss!